Hi, and welcome to the video series that focuses on the face-to-face relationship model of selling. I am Dr. David Lill, author of Selling the Profession and the sales videos that you are watching. I'm also a 20-year sales veteran and a college professor with 25 years of teaching and sales training experience. As you know, life is all about selling. We sell every day. Now, some people adapt to professional selling more easily than others, but salespeople who really succeed are those who study their craft and never stop learning. Each of these 4 videos begin with an introduction that includes a list of objectives and judging criteria for that specific call. In this series of role plays, we follow a salesperson from the approach all the way to gaining the prospect's commitment. Each of the videos focuses on a specific phase or step of the call. Now, at the conclusion of each role play, the salesperson confirms that the objectives and judging criteria have been met. Then you are given key points to remember that direct you to sections in the text that relate to the scenes you are watching. This structure, I hope, will help you create the most dynamic presentation that you possibly can. Use these videos to reinforce the principles discussed in chapters 9 to 13. Those are the very heart of relationship selling, the face-to-face portion of the selling cycle. Well, I want to thank your professor for selecting my textbook and using this video series, and I want to thank you, the students especially, for what I consider to be the most important class that you can take in your college career.
Welcome to Part 1, a focus on the face-to-face relationship model of selling. Today's topic is the approach. Over the next few minutes, we'll take a closer look at gaining the customer's attention and developing the customer's interest as you accompany me on a call to a prospective client. So let's get started. On your screen, you see the objectives and criteria for measuring effectiveness on the approach. The objectives give you a heads up on what you want to accomplish in this phase of the call. The measuring criteria provide a checklist for gauging your effectiveness in accomplishing your objectives. Remember, we want to gain the customer's attention and develop their interest for this critical phase of the call. Now, first of all, I never show up without doing my homework. I've researched the prospect's business online and through my existing customers and contacts that either know the prospect or are familiar with his company. I've also researched his industry and the neighborhood where his business is located. In fact, I've even visited his business as a customer. The more I know going in, the more confident and comfortable I'll be in conducting the approach. In this case, I'm conducting a cold call. I'm prepared to go for closing the business if time allows, or if not, to close the call and set up an appointment to continue at a later time. Remember that there's no second chance to make a first impression. So in addition to being prepared, you want to be prompt, even early. Correct any potentially distracting visual factors such as a tattered briefcase or crumpled support materials. Let your actions convey confidence, responsibility, and respect. Check your attitude. Be enthusiastic and be dressed to sell. All of these factors play a critical role in establishing credibility and helping you take that first step towards building rapport. Remember, this call you're about to see is a cold call. Hi, I'm Jennifer Kirkpatrick, a sales rep for Catering Effects, a one-stop ordering source for restaurants. We provide our clients with ordering, bids, and a streamlined delivery service of food and equipment, which saves my customers time and money. Well, here we are at Java and Jams. They have 5 independently owned and operated coffee houses here in the city. In addition to coffee, they sell breakfast and lunch food items, and at night, they offer entertainment. My research has told me that the best time to stop by is between the hours of 2 to 5 because this is their downtime. The owner and general manager of this location is Michael Dubois. I even called to get the correct pronunciation of his name. So here we go. Okay, I'm looking around to make sure it's not busy and confirm that this is a good time. I'm also checking to see if I can spot the owner and possibly approach him. I don't see him, so I'll go ask one of the workers.
Hi, can I help you?
Hi, I'm here to see Michael Dubois. Is he in today?
Yes, he's in his office. Is he expecting you?
No, actually I was here for your Thursday night show and I've been by a couple times to grab lunch and coffee in the morning, and I just wanted to pass along a couple comments I think he'd be interested in hearing if he's not busy.
Sure, I'll let him know.
Thank you. I wanted to pass along enough information to pique interest. I did this in a polite, non-threatening way. I showed respect and appreciation for Mr. Dubois' time and availability.
Hi,
Hi.
I'm Uncle Dubois. How can I help you?
Hi, Mr. Dubois. Thanks for taking time to see me. I'm Jennifer Kirkpatrick with Catering Effects, and this is my 4th visit to Java and Jams, and I have to tell you, I can see why the readers of City News voted your store the #1 music venue and coffee house here in the city.
Well, thank you, Jennifer. It is Jennifer, right?
Yes, it is, and I also love the great food here. You guys have a great atmosphere, friendly service, great staff.
Anyone in particular who was helpful?
See, Damon was our server at the show on Thursday.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's good to hear. Damon's one of our newer servers.
And the tables and chairs are perfect. If I'm not mistaken, I think they're CFS, aren't they?
Why, yes, they are.
With some original touches on the tables, of course. Great work, Mr. Dubois.
Well, thank you, Jennifer. But please call me Michael. I appreciate the positive feedback.
So, Michael, what got you interested in wanting to open up Java and Jams?
Well, I think that coffee houses are incredible hubs for the community, no matter where they are. I wanted to open a business that brought people together, that served the community and culture, and offered a convenient alternative to our fast-paced lives of cell phones and e-commerce. So I began investigating small businesses, visiting college campuses, you know, keeping my eyes and ears open for a possible business to pursue. In fact, I met my wife in a coffee house while doing my research.
Really? Is that here in the city?
Yes, we met at the Grind Cafe. She was actually visiting from her hometown of Sandusky, Ohio. She was interviewing for several jobs in the region, and here we are.
So, are you a native of the area?
I've been here since I was 8.
And you guys have any kids?
No, we're gonna wait a few years on that. She's just taking a job as program manager at IT Industries. So, we want to wait till our career is just a little more secure. But I have to say, there's something about the coffee house vibe that I really enjoy. And I'd like to see what I can do to make Java and Jams a standout establishment.
Well, obviously it's paying off. So, Michael, what do you think is the most important bit of information that you've gleaned from your research that's helped you in your vision for Java and Jams?
Well, I think that no matter how fast-paced our lives become, that we still need other people to help define our comfort zones, our humanity. A place that serves coffee and food and has entertainment, it encourages all that.
Well, the times I've been here before, I've overheard some really lively discussions. In fact, I was just talking to another business owner who knows you because his son plays soccer for a team you sponsor. Tom Anderson from the Bistro?
Oh, well, I know Tom very well.
Well, Tom's one of my clients, and he loves your establishment here. In fact, he's the one that suggested I stop by and say hello.
Wait, Tom is one of your clients?
Yes, and like a lot of the other business owners here in town, Tom was concerned with the amount of time he spent haggling with vendors, negotiating and sorting bids, and dealing with the inconveniences of those heavy delivery days.
Well, I can relate to that. Like Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, those trucks slow down traffic and even cut into the parking space of my customers. I ask my vendors to get here before 8 or between 2 and 5 in the afternoon, but it doesn't always work out that way.
So do you think you've even lost customers due to scheduling issues on those heavy delivery days?
Especially Fridays. They're typically busier. If my customers can't get to us, they either go to one of our competitors or they go to another part of town.
Well, I know that for Tom, having to work his way through bid sheets and calling the vendors and staying up to date was a real challenge. So what's your experience as far as ordering and tracking bids are concerned?
Well, it's funny you should mention that. It gives me a headache.
Yeah.
In fact, comparing bids, it's on my to-do list for this afternoon.
From the sound of things, I gather it can be frustrating.
Oh, yes.
So if you were to set up an ideal situation for going through and ordering bids, what would that look like?
Well, if I didn't have someone else to do it for me, I'd say point and click was the best way.
Well, I have some good news, Michael. By working with us, we were able to help Tom cut his order time by 75%. And through the use of our services, Tom's heavy delivery days have now been shifted to Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Oh, really?
So would significantly cutting down on your order time and arranging convenient delivery schedules that minimize impact on customer traffic be of interest to you?
Of course.
Well, how do you see that benefiting you?
Well, it would give me more time to work with my staff. I could book new acts, and I could find more creative ways to give Java and Jams the ability to help the community.
Well, it sounds like having more time and serving the community are important to you then.
Oh, absolutely. But how did you help Tom make those changes?
Well, Michael, I would be happy to go into more detail. Is this a good time for you to spend about 15 minutes with me? I just need to ask you some questions to determine your critical needs, and that'll let me know what we can do to help. Or I can schedule a time to come back, whatever be more convenient for you.
Well, I guess I can spare 15 minutes, but no more. I really have to get back to work on those bids and call in some orders.
Thanks, Michael. I do appreciate your time, and I promise no more than 15 minutes.
Come on back to my office.
Thanks. So how did I do? Remember the objectives and measuring criteria you saw earlier? Let's take a look. First, let's consider the objectives in gaining the customer's attention. Did I develop rapport?
Yes. Jennifer did a wonderful job building rapport. Through genuine, enthusiastic comments about my business and questions about operations, she got me to open up.
Did I build credibility?
Yes. Jennifer was very creditable. Jennifer talked about concerns I have that are shared by my fellow business owner, Tom. Jennifer was able to help Tom. Jennifer also demonstrated an appreciation of specific aspects of my business. That showed me that Jennifer knows what she's talking about. She even identified the supplier of my tables and chairs, and she expressed all of this in a very caring, respectful manner.
Did I initiate two-way communications?
Absolutely. The conversation was give and take throughout. She let me talk and listen to what I had to say.
Did I use the chit-chat with a purpose idea?
Yes. Jennifer got me talking about my business by showing that she obviously cares about my concerns and appreciates the job I do in running a business where she's actually a customer. The more we talked, the more it became clear that Jennifer has knowledge of services I need to run my business more efficiently and provide even better service for my customers.
Now, let's review the criteria for measuring effectiveness in gaining the customer's attention. Did I express appreciation for the time and opportunity?
Yes. Jennifer was very appreciative. In fact, she thanked me for my time at least twice during our conversation.
Did I gain the customer's attention in a positive manner?
Absolutely. Jennifer offered genuine compliments and positive comments about my business operations.
Did I use one or more of the effective approach techniques?
Jennifer actually used at least 6 approach techniques: qualifying question, compliment, referral, self-introduction, question, and consumer benefit.
Did I key in on responses to open-ended questions?
Oh yes, Jennifer did this throughout.
Were my comments genuine and relevant throughout the conversation?
Yes. Jennifer's comments supported my business and helped to establish herself as someone who could offer additional support.
Now, let's consider the objectives in developing the customer's interest. Did I stimulate the customer's interest enough to consider my proposition?
Yes. Jennifer was very persuasive. I believe that mentioning Tom was critical. He's not only a fellow business owner, but he faces a lot of the same concerns I have. If Jennifer can give Tom an edge, trust me, I want to know about it. By recognizing and validating my concerns, I believe Jennifer just might be able to help me. So, I want to know more.
Did I put the customer in a frame of mind that's receptive to change?
Yes. When Jennifer asked if cutting my ordering time and addressing delivery concerns would make a difference, well, the door was opened. She got me talking about what I'd really like to do with my time that is currently being spent on other things that she feels her company can address.
Now, let's review the criteria for measuring effectiveness in developing the customer's interest. Did I explain the purpose of the call?
Yes. I knew why she wanted to meet with me. She said she needed 15 minutes to ask a few questions to determine my needs and create a solution.
Did I deliver a realistic initial benefit statement?
This was incredible. In fact, she actually phrased her initial benefit statement in the form of a question. Would significantly cutting down on your order time and arranging convenient delivery schedules that minimize impact on customer traffic be of interest to you? That got my attention.
Were the potential benefits appropriate for the situation?
That's a no-brainer. In fact, her timing was perfect because I was about to engage in an activity that our company can significantly impact.
Was I naturally enthusiastic about the benefits? I think that showed.
It did.
In fact, once I get them sold, that opens the door to approaching the other store locations in the city. And finally, did I provide a smooth transition to the next phase? In other words, did I set us up to move on to needs discovery?
It's also a smooth transition for me because I'm ready to talk about my concerns and consider a solution that will keep me competitive and able to run my business more efficiently.
And it's a smooth transition for me because I can now ask questions about the decision-making process that continue to advance the sale throughout a presentation, handling objections and gaining commitment through the close. Welcome to part 2 of Focus on the Face-to-Face Relationship Model of Selling. Today's topic is needs discovery. Over the next few minutes, we'll take a closer look at establishing customer needs and qualifying customer needs as we continue with my call on Michael Dubois. On your screen, you see the objectives and criteria for measuring effectiveness as it applies to needs discovery. These objectives provide a heads up on what you want to accomplish in this phase of the call. The measuring criteria offer a checklist for gauging your effectiveness in accomplishing your objectives. Remember, we want to establish customer needs and qualify customer needs for this crucial phase of the call. So I successfully gained the customer's attention and developed his interest during the approach phase of my call on Michael Dubois, owner-manager of Java and Jams. If I hadn't been successful, he would not have permitted me to begin conducting the needs discovery phase. So now, I need to build on the rapport and interest I've established as I qualify this customer, lay out the groundwork for my call, and work with them to uncover needs and explore the consequences and impact of the circumstances that create these needs. Remember that telling is not selling, asking is. You build rapport to disarm the customer and get them comfortable so they'll open up. You pique their interest as you ask questions and carefully listen to their responses. Remember, your goal is to ask the right questions and let them do the talking. And always, always take notes. Now you can refer to these during your presentation when handling any objections that come up and when closing for the final decision. And take responsibility for your understanding of your customer. It's called the concept of burden. If they don't understand something, it's because you have not provided enough information or helped them discover a different perspective. Notice that I said you need to ask the right questions. There are 4 objectives your questions should attempt to achieve. These are: discover the prospect's hot button or dominant buying motive, establish the purchase criteria or specifications, agree on a time frame for completion of negotiations, and gain agreement on the problems before making the presentation. Now there's another key point to consider that can undermine all your efforts if you don't ask early in this phase. You must confirm that the person you're meeting with has the authority to make the final decision, and you must make sure that all parties are present who will be a part of making the final buying decision before proceeding. This is the ideal scenario, but in most business-to-business situations, you will often be selling to influencers. This will require multiple meetings and presentations. Now, in all phases of every call, I must take responsibility for assuring the understanding of my prospect. Anything they don't fully understand is not their fault, but mine. So let's get started with our needs discovery phase. Okay, I'm reading the prospect's environment. I'm looking around for further clues about how the owner, Michael Dubois, runs his business here. I'm looking for things like pictures on the wall, publications, personal touches. In other words, I'm looking for anything I can use to continue to build rapport, like the pictures on the wall of boys' sports teams. Well, thanks again for taking time to meet with me, Michael. You know, I can't help but notice the pictures of the boys' baseball and soccer teams on the wall.
Well, as I said, I believe a business has a responsibility to the community. And besides, I'm a huge supporter of sports for kids.
That support is much appreciated, I'm sure. In fact, I believe that the benefits that my company has to offer you will help free up both time and revenue for you to invest in that support.
Well, more revenue and more free time would certainly be nice.
Now, Michael, in order to make sure that I don't miss any opportunities to help you build that time and revenue, I'm going to ask you some questions. If you feel I ask you something that's too confidential, just let me know and I'll move on. Seems fair, doesn't it?
I'll let you know.
Okay. Well, I need to ask you these questions in order to determine your specific needs to help you discover the best solution that we have to help those needs. Now, if you feel that I offer you a viable, affordable, quality solution, are you prepared to make a buying decision today?
Well, if you can offer an affordable solution like Tom over at the bistro, I'm definitely interested. Perhaps what I hear today, I can be persuaded to make a decision today.
Well, that's good to hear, Michael. Now, if you feel that the solution that I present to you is a perfect fit for you here at Java and Jams, Who other than yourself would be involved in making that decision?
Oh, just me, Jennifer. I'll make that decision.
Okay, well, like I said before, Michael, this should only take about 15 minutes. Now, should you have any further questions or interests, I'm prepared to continue with my presentation. So just let me know how you're doing on time. That seems fair, doesn't it?
Seems fair to me, Jennifer.
Okay. Well, Michael, have you ever heard about catering effects?
Well, I have heard the name, but I assumed you were a catering company. You know, for parties and maybe corporate events, that sort of thing.
Well, we were formed by 3 companies who have specialized in supplying food items and equipment to the food service industry. Now, initially, our clients were those associated with those 3 companies. Well, then we started to find out how much potential business was lost in the open bid process, and many of our customers grew tired and frustrated in dealing with it.
Now, I can relate to that. Sometimes I'll settle rather than look into possible price breaks just because the bid process can be a pain and time-consuming.
Well, it's because of experiences like yours that we decided to look for ways around those price breaks and secure those price breaks for our customers. We also wanted to offer a streamlined, targeted delivery schedules that not only cut down on traffic, but were fuel efficient and provided optimum delivery times for our customers.
Well, you mentioned streamlined delivery schedules. Heavy delivery days, they can hurt my business, and they tend to happen on heavy traffic days too. If there's some way to address that, I'd be a lot less stressed, I'm sure.
Well, I know we can help you there, Michael. Our best clients are customers who experience multi-bid and multi-vendor processes and experience the headaches associated with multiple deliveries during the week.
Well, so far you've described me to a T.
So how many vendors do you currently deal with?
Well, let me think. There's produce, dairy, eggs, staple goods, coffee and beverage, paper goods. Let me get my projection sheet.
Okay.
Well, it definitely seems like there's more, but there's actually 13.
Can I take a look at that?
Sure.
Thanks.
Why do you need to see that?
Well, my guess is that many of your vendors actually already work with us.
Oh, okay. So, do you see any you know?
The only one I don't recognize is Egg Southwest. So can you tell me a little bit about them?
Whoa, well, they're located in the Valley. I've dealt with them not only here, but at my last job in the University Food Service.
Okay.
They're a mom and pop type company. They supply both the State University and the community hospital. Great people, really great service.
Well, service can make the difference. So counting all 13 vendors, how many days per week do you receive deliveries?
I guess every day we get at least 5 deliveries. Dairy and produce, they're daily. CFS and Ryco, they come twice a week. East Coast Foods too. Now Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays are our heaviest delivery days. I guess as many as all 13 of our vendors can show up on a Wednesday.
Okay, I see that you mentioned Ryco. You know, they're actually one of our founding companies.
We order a lot of their staple goods. When we first opened here, a lot of our original kitchen equipment came from them.
Any problems with delivery?
On Wednesdays, I think they've been late a couple times. Other than that, when we first opened, some pantry items were back ordered, but nothing that really caused any serious problems.
So what do you think of the quality that they offer?
Well, their equipment is very good. They offer a good variety of food products. Now, variety is becoming more important as our business grows because our menu is expanding as well. Now, Ryco offers a great deal more specialty food items than we currently need, but that is subject to change.
So I take it that you're expanding your menu to include new items?
Oh yes. Right now we're trying new menu specials as well, just to test them out. One of my ideas is to mix a variety of ethnic foods. Now, a lot of our musical acts mix musical genres, and I want a menu that reflects that blending of cultures. Now, for example, we could offer a Jamaican entree with an Italian side dish.
That sounds unique, Michael. So how do you see the expanded menu affecting your ordering process and vendor bids?
Well, the more items we need, the more time will be spent checking availability and potential new vendors. And like I said, I don't always have time to check into that as much as I should. Now, if I introduce a food product whose quality is compromised, it's like shooting myself in the foot.
Right. So in order to get the best prices, the best quality items, and the best delivery schedules, that's requiring more time as your business grows. And that's time you're already short on. Is that a fair statement?
Well, I don't know if it's fair, but it's accurate.
So are there any other areas of your business where expansion may call for additional purchases?
Well, didn't you mention seeing a show here? Well, currently, we're in the planning stages of opening a new music venue upstairs. That will require additional seating, lighting, carpeting or flooring of some kind, sound issues. So, Jennifer, do you know anybody that could help us out there?
Well, actually, Michael, in addition to handling bids for food items, we process equipment, furniture, lighting, glassware, and paper goods. In addition to handling or dealing with RICO, we are currently contracted with more than 40 vendors here in the city, and that list is growing. And if a vendor that you work with is not currently contracted with us, we're prepared to work with them so that your service is not disrupted in any way. So are you happy with all of your current vendors?
Well, quality is fine for all my vendors, as far as I know. There are some pricing concerns, especially with produce and dairy. That market can change so quickly.
Now, you had indicated out front that deliveries can really interfere with customer parking and traffic. How often does that occur?
Well, there are some delivery issues every week, especially on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. If my vendors get here before 8 o'clock in the morning, the day runs smoothly, but that doesn't always happen. It's especially unrealistic to think that all 13 of my vendors could be here by that time, but hey, I can dream.
Well, do you ever have to make adjustments in ordering because you anticipate problems with shortages or late deliveries?
Oh yes, it pays to play it safe, but that ordering strategy does not always work when it comes to perishables. If I can get a good price on staple goods that have a healthy shelf life, then I'll order extra before the bids change again.
So, Michael, in addition to delivery traffic and timing concerns, processing bid and ordering, and getting the best price break on a consistent basis, what else concerns you as far as a relationship with your vendors?
Availability in the time of crisis, I guess. Sometimes we'll run out of a specific menu item, and if we can't get in touch with the vendor right away, we have to run to the store, pay an arm and a leg for it, and that will cut into profit significantly. Let me tell you about something that happened last week. During our lunch rush, we ran out of roast beef. We wanted to use turkey as a substitute, but the product we'd received, it was spoiled. We tried to call the vendor, and we kept getting a busy signal. We had to run to the deli, pay full price for the turkey, just to get us through the day. Then, one of our industrial toasters that we use for our sandwich breads went dead. And again, we couldn't get in touch with the vendor. We lost revenue from customers that wanted our sandwich specials. The whole thing was a nightmare.
So, what if someone could offer a solution to address or even prevent something like that from happening? What would that look like?
When I call a vendor to fix a piece of equipment, I expect them to show up on time, guarantee their work, and fix it the first time. If not, I shouldn't have to pay. Just like if product quality is compromised, it should be replaced without any extra charges.
So how did I do? Remember the objectives and measuring criteria you saw earlier? Let's take a look. First, let's consider the objectives in establishing customer needs. I identified requirements that the customer must satisfy in order to meet his goals and objectives. I found out what the decision criteria are for making an affirmative decision. I found out whose authority is required for commitment to the proposed solution. Now let's review the criteria for measuring effectiveness in establishing the customer's needs. I used a permissive question to lead smoothly into needs discovery. I set an agenda for the sales call. I also identified and prioritized the customer's goals in order of their importance. In fact, I had Michael do this.
Isn't Jennifer doing a good job? Now let's consider the objectives in qualifying the customer's needs. Jennifer confirmed a clear understanding of my needs. This was done throughout the phase of the call. Jennifer also verified that significant interest in developing a solution exists. She gained agreement that if she can propose a viable solution to my needs, that I can take action on her proposal. Now, let's review the criteria for measuring effectiveness in qualifying the customer's needs. Jennifer obtained understanding and agreement of my needs and how they can be met. She used open probe and closed probe questions. She asked what-if type questions to qualify interest in designing an appropriate solution. She used amplification and internal summary questions. Jennifer also took responsibility for understanding my needs and concerns by using the concept of burden, and she gained agreement on the problems
by making a formal statement of the situation.
Welcome to Part 3, a focus on the face-to-face relationship model of selling. Today's topic is making a presentation. Over the next several minutes, we'll take a closer look at building units of conviction as I continue my call with Michael Dubois. On your screen, you see the objectives and criteria for measuring effectiveness when making the presentation. These objectives direct you towards what you want to accomplish in this phase of the call. The measuring criteria provide a checklist for gauging your effectiveness in reaching your objectives. Remember, I want to build strong units of conviction as I conduct my presentation. But in order to do that effectively, I need to build rapport and credibility, ask the right questions, and listen effectively in the previous phases of my call. Now, here are a few rules to follow in preparing any support tools for a presentation. Make sure everything is in working order. Make sure the environment is conducive to conducting an effective presentation. You want the prospect's full attention. Poor lighting or distractions, such as loud noises or traffic, can interfere with the positive impact you want to have. For my call, I've brought along several testimonials, neatly packaged and easy to read, people the prospect will likely know of. I have a flip chart that will keep us on track during the presentation. It essentially functions as a visual outline. My flip chart is built around the benefits that I have to offer. And because it lets me know where I am in the presentation, I can engage in conversation with him and stay on track. I can concentrate on listening to him because it fosters two-way communication. It's also designed to keep me moving forward to the close. It helps me tell the whole story and provide the bigger picture in a timely manner. Now, it's important to keep your prospect engaged during your presentation. It's not a rambling speech. It's a give-and-take relationship of discovery. Now, I took a number of notes during the meets discovery phase of my call. I took these notes because I know my business, but I need to know how to specifically help my prospect do a better job at running his. But these notes I took were not only for the point of jotting down information. In fact, most of these notes were actually being taken to help me build units of conviction for my outline presentation. Now remember that before I can expect a signed order form, I have to figure out how to improve my customer's business. Then I have to devise a way to persuade them that the solution I have to offer is the best way to go. I do this by preparing units of conviction. I'll begin my presentation by following the tell them 3 times rule. 1, I'll tell my prospect what I'm going to share. 2, I'll tell him during the presentation. And 3, at the conclusion of my presentation, I'll tell him what I just shared. Here we go. Okay, so Michael, what I'd like to do now is present an overview to you based on what you've told me that will significantly reduce the headaches associated with ordering and bid processes and tracking your orders during the week. Now, you told me that the bid process is often a big headache for you, right?
Yes, especially just setting the whole process in motion can be a huge challenge.
Well, what do you feel represents the 3 biggest challenges in setting that process in motion?
Well, the toughest thing is I don't have time to compare bids in detail. I mean, most of the times I go with the best price, but if I had time to look closer, I may see that the package size is different. Coffee products present a challenge because the market is so volatile and competitive. I'd like to be able to investigate new providers so I can work on creating new blends, but I tend to skim the bid sheets and go with the lowest price.
So comparing bids is a challenge. What else?
Well, researching new vendors is also a pain because, again, I don't always have time to call around for word-of-mouth recommendations. Plus, there's no time to research except what little I can do online. But again, I still want to verify that by calling the people I know.
All right, so researching vendors is another challenge. What would be the 3rd?
Something I like to do when I can is visit my vendors. Again, it's a logistics issue. Not just time, though. Distance can be a factor also.
Okay, so 3rd is visiting vendors. You know, it actually sounds like that all of the 3 of your biggest challenges are really centered around one challenge.
What do you mean?
Well, they're all centered around not having enough time. So how would it make you feel if you had one resource that you could turn to for comparing your bids and product and volume quality and researching vendors and conducting on-site visits prior to selecting a vendor?
I guess I would be skeptical, but happy if this could actually happen.
Well, at Catering Effect, we offer a one-stop simplified bid process.
What does that mean? How does it work?
Well, Michael, what this means is that for bids for all of your product and equipment are obtained by us, thoroughly compared, negotiated, and verified. And we even conduct visits to vendors prior to accepting them as a vendor. Now, let me go ahead. And what you have here is a report on the number of site inspections that we've conducted in the last 3 months on potential vendors. Now, as you can see, not every vendor makes the cut.
It looks like you've covered quite a few. I see that you look for things like safety issues and any discriminatory practices. Those are definitely important and something I wouldn't necessarily think of when talking to a supplier. You consider liability and legal issues too, and financial. I guess that's because you want to make sure the company is going to stick around. This is impressive, Jennifer. That's a pretty comprehensive list there. Now, what are these numbers here, like the 22 next to quality?
Well, that number reflects the percentage of vendors that were rejected because of a specific issue or item in the criteria.
It looks like quality is the biggest reason a vendor is rejected. That's good to know that you do such a thorough investigation. I never have time for that.
So you feel that these inspections are something that has value?
Like I said, you cover issues that I hadn't even thought of, but I can see how important they would be in selecting quality vendors. I wish I had somebody here that I could trust to check out all my vendors for all these things.
Now, Michael, here is a report on 5 businesses here in this part of the city that are currently using us. And the numbers next to their name reflect the satisfaction level that they received in using our services. And actually, I have a hard copy of these reports that I'll leave behind with you. And for these reports, I even have email addresses and phone numbers that I'll leave behind with you as well in case you wanted to contact any of them.
Well, I know Darren Barner. He's the coach for one of the baseball teams I sponsor. Plus, I worked with him my last job at the university. He's a very direct, no-nonsense type of individual. And we're friends, so I trust his judgment.
So from what you've told me today, Michael, the time that you would save by having a one-stop simplified bid process from a company that you can trust is something that would clearly bring value to your company. Would you agree?
Of course. I especially like the fact that vendors are screened so well.
Now, what we have also is, in addition to a one-stop process, we obtain the lowest price for the best quality. Now, how would you define quality in selecting a vendor?
Well, that varies according to the item. Okay, for example, I prefer organic produce. Now, I know that usually costs more, but depending on the item, it's worth it. Better taste, more appealing appearance and presentation. Then, how the product is handled or transported affects quality. And delivery of service affects that too, I think.
Well, you'll be happy to know that we are on the same page. Service and handling are key components of quality. So when we say that we obtain the lowest price for the best quality, what this means is that the products and equipment that you get from us have been gone through a careful screening process by Catering Effects to ensure that you get the best for less.
Like with the on-site visits.
Exactly. In fact, statistics show that product quality has a direct impact on the success of a business. Just because something is cheaper does not mean that it's of poor quality, nor does it mean that it's better. But if you serve a poor quality product because a vendor did not deliver as promised, who suffers?
My customers, and ultimately my business.
So would you agree that obtaining the lowest price for the best quality is something that you could clearly benefit from?
Well, I can see that the benefits for my customers, and it will obviously help my business as well.
Exactly. Well, imagine that there are no more headaches with the bid process. You're assured you get the best quality for the best price. And we also offer an optimum delivery schedule. If you could arrange the ideal delivery schedule for you, how would that look?
Ideally, all of my vendors would get here before 8 a.m. And I'd like to be able to spread my deliveries out more. A few vendors only deliver on Monday and Wednesday, and that ties up things as far as getting staff to put stock away and check things in. And like we discussed before, it backs up traffic. Trucks end up parking in the street and unloading right there. That can be frustrating and also pretty dangerous, I think.
So from what you're saying, it's my understanding that more flexibility and shifting deliveries to less hectic days are actually pretty critical. Is that a fair statement?
Well, yes. It'd be a great relief. Many days, it's like being under a series of surprise attacks. I hate getting hit hard by incoming vendors.
Well, our optimum delivery schedule can provide that and much more. Think about this. Instead of all 13 vendors showing up on every single day of the week, you have one service that delivers on behalf of all of your vendors. We secure products from your current vendors, and we arrange delivery however you wish. And what this means to you is less delivery traffic and earlier delivery times on any day of the week. This also helps you work more efficiently with dealing with your employees and putting away stock and that sort of thing. Now, earlier we had talked about Tom at the bistro, and I actually have a testimonial letter from Tom stating what he appreciates the most about catering effects.
Wow. He has specifically assigned a team of 2 people whose sole job is receiving delivery from Catering Effects on Tuesday and Thursday. They work that early morning shift, and they have stock put away by 8 a.m. It's cut back on his deliveries and has reduced traffic concerns. He's not pulling staff as vendors come at all hours of the day. I have to call him.
So I think you'll agree with me, Michael, that this is a much better way to handle deliveries than your current process, right?
Now, that's an understatement. This would be great because, like I said, I can lose focus because deliveries pull me and my people away from serving our customers. Then, I worry about customers getting hit trying to get around a delivery truck. Jennifer, the more control and consistency that I can have with delivery issues, the better.
Exactly, Michael. You know what? We also offer a simplified bid process. How much time do you currently spend placing all of your orders?
You mean calling them in?
Yeah.
Well, depending on the day, it can vary anywhere from an hour to 2 hours. Some days it can take even longer. If I'm on hold or something's out of stock, then I have to call a different vendor for backup.
Well, our simplified order process eliminates multiple calls to several vendors. And what this means is that you have one point of contact and 3 options for placing your order. You can call us, you can place it online, or you can even fax us your order. Imagine what it would be like if you had your order placed online all at once. Imagine how much time that would save you and the less hassles bringing on more stress.
Saving time and having less stress would obviously be great. I mean, as long as I still get my orders placed in time.
Well, I think you'll appreciate the fact that we take orders 24/7, which means that you can place orders at your convenience. Now, I see that you're smiling, so I'm guessing that you'll agree that a simplified order process would certainly eliminate hassles and make the ordering process better.
I wouldn't have to worry about busy signals, or sometimes taking all day to get all my orders in. I could do it all in one setting. Yeah, Jennifer, I like that a lot.
You know, Michael, and best of all, we have our guarantees. We guarantee delivery before 8 a.m. or you receive credit on your service. And that credit is 5% for every hour that we're late, should that occur. And we also guarantee quality of product or it's replaced at no cost to you. That covers everything from food items to equipment. And we guarantee service on the equipment that you receive through us. So how many of your current vendors actually even offer guarantees?
None of them, but you mentioned a 5% credit. 5% of what?
Well, if we're late, you receive a 5% credit on your fee for the service, and that fee varies depending on the number of vendors that you use. Seems fair, doesn't it?
Well, yes. It sounds more than fair, but I know you don't offer your service for free. So, what's the fee?
Great question, and I do have a little bit more information I need to cover, and I promise we'll get back to that. Now, everything that we've talked about so far offers a tremendous savings in time. So what I like to do right now is add up the amount of time you'd save by using our service. Just a rough idea, okay?
Okay.
All right. So how much time did you say you currently spend on the bid process each week?
Oh, wow. It can be a full day easily.
All right, what's a full day to you?
10 hours.
Okay, so 10. All right, how much time per week do you currently spend placing orders?
Well, some days it goes pretty smoothly, but most of the time there's a glitch. You know, busy signals or problems in the kitchen or customer issues that I have to address. But I'd say at least an hour a day, including callbacks.
Okay, so I'm going to add 5 hours for ordering. Now, how much time do you spend on checking in orders and supervising your staff on inventory, especially when deliveries are late?
Oh, I guess in a week, maybe 5 hours.
Okay, 5. So, what is the total number of hours that you invest in bids, in ordering and delivery issues?
20.
So instead of 20 hours, you'll be spending less than 1 hour ordering, and you'll have guaranteed deliveries whenever you wish, on whatever day you wish. So how would you spend those extra hours?
Now, that's easy. I'd spend any free time on training my people and on projects like the new menu items and special events in our music venue. Training right now is pretty much a rush job. That's not fair to the new staff, and it's certainly not fair to use customers as the guinea pigs. So, any time I could save would be a definite benefit. Plus, it would keep things positive and exciting and generate more revenue. Always a good thing.
So Michael, we're prepared to offer you a simplified bid process where we do the comparisons and research for you. You get the lowest prices for the best quality without compromising the integrity of your menu items or equipment. We offer an optimum delivery schedule that's convenient and saves time and money. We also offer our simplified ordering process. Just go online and place your order there. It's that easy. And you have our guarantees. You'll save a minimum of 15 hours per week, which will allow you to focus on morale boosting and generating ideas and projects. So would you agree that Catering Effects meets your needs is a viable solution?
Well, it sure seems so.
So, how well did I do? Remember those objectives and measuring criteria we saw earlier? Why don't we let Michael answer that?
First, let's consider the objectives. Did Jennifer gain my support and commitment to her proposed solution? Yes, she did. In fact, she took advantage of every opportunity to reinforce this throughout her presentation. Did she convince me that the solution meets my needs and that the plan she's proposing is viable? Yes, but she still has a little more work to do. Now let's review the criteria for measuring effectiveness in making the presentation. Jennifer related her specific solution to my specific needs, concerns, and questions. She used an appropriate number of units of conviction as presentation material to convince me that buying from her would be in my best interest. You can use 5 or 6 like Jennifer did, or as many as 10 to 12, depending on your situation. All units of conviction Jennifer used applied specifically to me and my business. She obtained feedback from me by asking reaction questions, such as trial closes or tie downs. She also addressed my information and operational needs. She related features to benefits by using transitional phrases, and Jennifer provided clear evidence to support the benefits. Like I said, she's doing a great job, and she's got me sold. Almost.
Welcome to Part 4, Focus on the Face-to-Face Relationship Model of Selling. Today's topic is overcoming resistance and gaining commitment. Over the next few minutes, we'll take a closer look at handling objections and closing for the final decision as we continue on our call on Michael Dubois. On your screen, you see the objectives and criteria for measuring effectiveness on overcoming resistance and gaining commitment. The objectives give you a heads up on what you want to accomplish in this phase of the call. The measuring criteria provide a checklist for gauging your effectiveness in accomplishing your objectives for this critical phase of the call. Now, don't be afraid of the word objection, but rather than use the word objection, which conjures up negative responses and can be perceived as adversarial, use the terms concerns or questions. Now, each of these concerns or questions that are expressed by your prospect or customer is actually an opportunity. It's an opportunity to provide or obtain additional information that concern your prospect's needs or perceptions. And best of all, these concerns and questions are buying signals. It shows that they're thinking about how what you have to offer fits or doesn't quite fit their needs. Remember, when you don't have an objection or concerns or questions, you don't have a client. Now, there are a number of basic categories of buyer objections: product objection, service objection, don't want to make a decision, company objections, price objection, and objection to the salesperson. Maybe you're perceived as pushy, unprepared, or a poor listener. There is also a 6-step strategic negotiation plan to follow when addressing buyer concerns. Note that the 6th step is attempt to close. That's right, if you perceive buying signals after addressing a concern or question, you should attempt to close. And there are several types of closes you can use. You'll know which to consider based on the type of business and situation, as well as your prospect's personality style.
Well, what you presented could help me operate more efficiently and grow my business by providing the extra time to do so. But you mentioned a fee. So, how much does this cost? You said you'd talk about it later. Sounds like it might be expensive.
Well, you see, Michael, it's based on the number of vendors and required deliveries. For 13 vendors and a minimum of 2 deliveries per week, with all the benefits we've just discussed, our participation fee is $1,000 per month.
$1,000 a month? So, in order to receive the same products I'm already getting, I have to shell out $1,000 a month? I'm not going to pay that.
Well, granted, many of the products will often be the same, but the headaches of the bid process, ordering and delivery schedules will be significantly reduced. If we can work together to find a solution to address this cost concern, would that help you make a purchase decision?
Well, it doesn't change the numbers. I mean, if it's going to be $1,000 a month, I'm not so sure we have anything else to discuss.
I can certainly appreciate your concern regarding price, Michael, and I understand how you feel. Others have felt the same way when I first presented our service to them, until they found that the time they saved and relief from stress that they received by having their bids, ordering, and delivery issues taken care of was worth the fee. That $1,000 does seem like a lot of money, but you're getting much more than just having the same products delivered. Are you following me so far?
Jennifer, I'm following you, but $1,000 a month? It's still a lot of money.
Okay, well, look at it this way. For roughly $33 a day, which is actually less than the cost of a single guest dinner and show, you'll be spending extra time developing new menu items, creating new entertainment concepts, and training your staff. Now, didn't you mention earlier that this can easily boost morale and promote a positive environment?
Well, yes, I did.
And you mentioned your day is roughly 10 hours, right? Okay, so $33 divided by 10 is a little over $3. So for $3 an hour, or the price of serving 1 customer per day, you can bring in new customers and run your business more efficiently. So am I correct in assuming that this investment in time is worth the price of 1 satisfied customer?
Well, looking at it that way does take the sting out of it. It's just that hearing the phrase 1,000 is a bit jarring. But I'm beginning to see your point.
So do you feel that our fee is acceptable for the benefits you'll receive?
Okay, yes. I do think it's a fair price. Being able to pursue some of my goals is definitely worth an extra $3 per hour of my time.
So I can take care of the paperwork right now. It'll take roughly 5 to 7 days to process the bid information and work things out with your vendors. We can have you up and running by the 15th. All I need is your signature, and we can start planning how you'll use that extra time you'll have.
I don't know. I just need to think about this.
Well, I can appreciate that. This is a big decision, and I can understand that you want to think things through. Now, earlier you said that you have new menu items in the works, and you're opening up additional space for music. So what's your timeline on those?
Well, the new menu is planned for the middle of next month. That's when tourist season begins to pick up. The music venue will be up and running by the 1st of June.
So considering that, wouldn't it be a huge benefit to have the extra time to devote to those projects? We could get you signed up today. Have everything in place by the 15th of this month. That would give you a full month before the menu is officially introduced.
Well, yes, but
Now, there's still something on your mind. What is it that you feel we haven't clarified to your satisfaction?
Well, I'm still a little concerned about Egg Southwest. It's a small vendor I know, but I do enjoy working with them. Can they be included with your service, or can I keep them separately? I'm assuming your vendors pay some sort of participation fee. So what does that mean? Egg Southwest would have to pay a fee?
Now, each of our participating vendors does pay a subscriber fee and monthly fee. Now, these fees are reasonable, and they're actually well received. With rising fuel costs, most are happy to have some of us do the running around for them. Plus, there's more exposure for them to potential customers that we serve. Now, for our smaller vendor, that's an additional benefit if they're equipped to handle the extra business. So if Egg Southwest qualifies as a participating vendor, it exposes them to more opportunities for new customers to use their products.
Either way, I want to continue with them.
Well, we'll do what we can to accommodate you, Michael. Now, we can arrange a time for you and someone from Catering Effects to meet with a rep from Egg Southwest if you'd like.
Well, that'll work.
So have I addressed your concerns about this vendor?
Yes, it would be great to see them get more business. Any benefits your service could pass along to them would be a plus for me personally.
You know, you really do care about your business, your customers, and your vendors, Michael. That's nice to see. So how would you like to get things rolling?
This has hit all so fast. I want to use your service, but I just need to sort some things out.
Michael, the decision you're about to make is important, and I want you to be sure that you're making a sensible choice. So that we'll be able to make sure that this is the best decision, let's look at all the reasons in favor of choosing Catering Effects and look at any additional concerns or questions. And then we can determine which side carries more weight and make your decision accordingly. Let's begin with the ideas that favor a positive decision today. Is that fair enough?
Sure.
Okay, now I have a sheet of paper here. I'm going to draw a line down the middle from the top to the bottom. At the top of one side, I'm writing reasons for. And at the top of the other side, I'm writing reasons against, okay? Now I'm going to ask you a few questions and I'm going to write your responses. So what are the benefits that you've heard that you find most attractive? Reasons to get this service today?
Simple ordering procedure.
Okay, well what about the bid process? What appeals to you in what we've discussed about the bid process?
Bids are researched and compared for me.
Researched and compared for you. Okay, anything else about the bids?
Saves time and frustration.
Okay, what about quality issues in the bid process?
Lowest price, best quality.
Okay, great. Delivery issues. You said you liked early delivery?
Yes. Also, it's easy to receive. No traffic issues.
And you mentioned benefits for your vendors, especially Egg Southwest.
Oh, yes.
And what about the guarantees?
The guarantees, of course.
And vendor inspections, right?
Yes. Your screening process is very impressive and very important.
Okay, now I want you to write down all the reasons against receiving the benefits that we've just listed.
You know, I can't really think of one. I guess you've addressed all my concerns.
Okay, so all I need now is your endorsement on this agreement, and we can actually fax it over. I will give you a call. I'll give a call to our processing office, or if you'd allow me, I can input that information into the intranet on our website.
That'd be great.
Just sign right there. You know, Michael, you're making a well thought out business decision. In fact, I recommend that you give Tom a call at the bistro and your friend Darren Barner, who you mentioned earlier, just to give you some extra reassurance. And I want you to know that I'll be checking in with you on a weekly basis to see how things are going and to offer additional ways we can support you through new bids and new vendors. And I'll even check in on you on sound equipment, if that would be helpful, as you develop your new music space. So do you feel the stress kind of starting to disappear?
I'll let you know. But yes, I do believe this is a good business decision.
Thanks, I really appreciate that. Now, is there anyone else that you know of who you feel could benefit from what we've shown you today?
Well, you may already know this, but there are 4 other Java and Jams locations in town. We're each independently owned and operated. But I think they need to know about you. In fact, I'll give you a contact sheet so you can give them a call.
Thanks, I really do appreciate that. Now, do you know of anyone else who might be interested?
Oh, I'm sure I do. But right now, I have to get back to my bids and ordering. If I can think of anyone else, I'll be sure to give you a call.
Thanks, Michael. Now, with your permission, I'd like to enter your info online, get the process underway, and let you get back to your work.
Well, thanks, Jennifer. I'm looking forward to getting started.
Well, thank you, and welcome to Catering Effects. So how did I do? Remember the objectives and measuring criteria you saw earlier? Let's take a look. Now, let's consider the objectives. I obtained commitment to action for my proposed solution by the final decision maker. Notice that I avoided using the term objection, and I addressed all concerns or questions in a positive manner. I used proven techniques for handling those and closing the sale. Now let's review the criteria for measuring effectiveness. I summarized the benefits in a concise manner. I utilized specific closing techniques to confirm my customer's commitment. I attempted to close the sale after addressing or answering a major concern or question. I achieved the highest level of commitment from this sales call. I completed this relationship selling cycle with a plan for future action. I thoroughly and specifically demonstrated several ways to handle concerns including the price objection. I attempted to close the sale at least 3 or 4 times. I asked for referrals. And I set the stage for exiting gracefully.